FSU's Terrence Mann going up high for the one-handed putback slam.
Okay, my man. They got some good athletes at Florida State. Leonard Hamilton does a good job recruiting, man. Junior college, man, he'll go anywhere to find them.
Grizzlies and Lakers. Avery Bradley dropping Brandon Ingram with a vicious crossover and then hits the jumper.
Can I admit something, Nick?
Please.
I'd love it.
Man, I didn't know where Avery Bradley was. I'm watching the game last night and said, there he go. There he go right there.
He's one of the many guys that left the Celtics and never quite got back to that level.
Ben Simmons behind the back to evade the defender.
Oh,
Nice
I love this little
layup.
round-the-world move, see? Don't throw any shade on Ben Simmons in this highlight. They got to win.
I found out who Ben Simmons is. If you Michael Kidd Grillcast, okay, that's who Ben Simmons is.
Oh, my God.
Suns and Heat and Dwayne Wade spinning around, gets it to go.
I mean, I said don't throw shade on him, so instead you call him Michael Kidd guilty.
Well, I'm just going to
D-Wade, I'm going to throw shade on D-Wade's hairstyle.
Yeah.
Hey, man.
This is back to Chicago, man.
This is back to Allen Iverson. This is back to a lot. Gabby Union didn't sign off on that, I guarantee it.
Back to LeBron and the Lakers now. Not a great night for him or the team. Despite having a triple-double, LeBron just 8 for 23, struggled on the defensive end. But wait, there's more. According to a rival executive, LeBron, quote, killed the chemistry for this young Lakers team and should not have been so public about his desire to land Anthony Davis. Nick, what's your reaction to this?
All morning long, when we've talked about the game last night and the Lakers right now, I've been very critical of LeBron. He does not look like the best player in the world right now. He is not in basketball shape for the first time that I've ever seen. He's the heaviest he's ever been. He's the worst defensively he's ever been. All of that is fair. All of that is real. All of that is one of the reasons that since the All-Star break, they have these 2 horrible losses. But this here is ludicrous. It's nonsense, and it is the type of criticism that only LeBron gets. Who's getting criticized for the Celtics? By the way, they haven't been great since the trade deadline. Those players know, we talked about it today, that any of them are on the table. Danny Ainge getting killed for that, and if he is, it's the GM who would be getting killed. But, of course, he's not.
Well, it's also after the trade deadline. So the younger players, they don't have as much to worry about because they know they're there until at least after the season. So
But it's after the deadline for the Lakers, too.
Well, I mean, but the whole roster of the Celtics was not involved in the trade by name before the trade deadline, so that it's totally different than the Lakers' younger players. They were said by name, all these players, and it was kind of co-signed by LeBron saying that, yes, I want to play with AD.
But so this is where
So that part is true.
That part is true. That last part is the part I take issue with. LeBron was asked about Anthony Davis. He said, of course I want to play with. I've always wanted to play with great players. And then he said to Tanya Ganguly, the LA Times reporter, ask me if I want to play with Kevin Durant. Ask me if I want to play with Kyrie Irving. He made it very clear, I want to play with great players.
But also when you say that, leadership is tough because you have to realize it's just like a relationship. And when you go to counseling, man, which I have been to enough for a number of different reasons, but it's not only what you say. It's what do the other people hear that are in this relationship. So, yes, LeBron might have been 100% in that. Ask me about KD. Ask me about Steph. Ask me about Wilt Chamberlain. All those things. But what did the younger players hear? Because what they might have heard was, he don't want to play with me. All right? So you have to be careful in being a leader. And that's part of the responsibility of being a leader is the echo of your voice, it carries. And what goes into other people's ear is not always what you're saying.
Fair enough. But he's not the GM. When you say all these players were included in the trade, he was not the one calling Dell Demps. He was not the one leaking the trades. He was not the one proposing the trades. As I like to remind people, LeBron is not the puppet master that runs the entire NBA, runs Anthony Davis's trade request, runs the Lakers front office. If he were, I'm guessing Luke Walton might not still be the coach there.
But he did have the power if he wanted to, just like free agency, the way he addressed it said, I'm not going to talk about my free agency until the end of the season. He could have easily said, I'm enjoying my teammates here. All right, I'm not going to talk about any potential trades. I'm going to enjoy my teammates. We're going to make the best of this team right here. When you allow the Anthony Davis conversation to take place, you can't control how other people are going. It's tough being LeBron. But those other players who aren't used to that, like, it's a tough adjustment for them in pro basketball, having LeBron James on the roster. Every group of players that have been with LeBron since he came into the league, all those veterans who had inherited the king, coming back to Cleveland as the #1 pick, when he went to Miami, Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh, man, that was not an easy transition for them or the other players surrounding it. When he went back to Cleveland, players had to make an adjustment. It rubbed them the wrong way. And in Los Angeles, if we didn't think that, because this is a people business and people are about emotions, it's the same way in Los Angeles. So we should have known there was going to be some type of effect on the people in Los Angeles.
You don't think the Lakers would be in a better position right now, record-wise, had this trade not gotten leaked, had the young players not found out that their name was just splashed all over?
I think they might be, but he's not the general manager.
But do you see how if his name, if just the concept of Anthony Davis possibly coming here comes out and is leaked, and he answers the question, okay, yes, I would like to play with him, who else are they going to trade for Anthony Davis? Okay, so I just want, but again, I want people to follow the full logic of this. Was it LeBron's doing that Anthony Davis demanded a trade? No. Was it LeBron's doing that the Lakers were, by all accounts, one of his 4 preferred destinations? No. Okay. And so if LeBron says nothing, but it is still reported the Lakers are trying to trade for Anthony Davis, do Kyle Kuzma and Brandon Ingram think they're not involved? And by the way, Ingram's playing the best basketball of his career the last 10 days, but regardless, to your point, he could have said, I'm not talking about any of it. You really believe that would have fixed the Lakers' ills?
No, I don't believe it, but we're past it now. And if I can go back, and if I can put the toothpaste back in it, I would try to do it a different way. He wouldn't be the only person, Magic Johnson, because Magic Johnson is the one who got everything started. LeBron was trying to ask questions. Now, as a leader, I know general managers, but I can follow that up because I'm dealing with the players every day. Magic's not dealing with the players every day. So LeBron could have trumped that by saying, regardless of what they say about the front office, I fully support what they're going to do. But right now, it's about me and my teammates. In Miami, didn't they have that number count, 15 all in? Like they have these little slogans. What kind of slogan can LeBron have for these guys? Hey, man, don't loan you no money because you ain't going to be here for a long time. Like, what could he do from a team building standpoint? Because people have talked about LeBron being as the best at team building, activities that he can do. How can you do that when everyone is potentially going to be traded? So LeBron could have done better. Magic could have done better. And as a professional, it's hard for these younger players. They could have done better. So you can put blame on each aspect of it.
The reality to me is what ruined the Lakers, or what has ruined the Lakers up to this point, are those 18 games LeBron James didn't play and how he's been since he came back. When you go 6-12 without LeBron, that includes right after that great Golden State win, losses to the Kings and the Clippers, the 2 teams you're chasing. And you follow that up by getting blown out by Minnesota. You lose at home to Cleveland. And then maybe the single worst loss any team has in the NBA this year. They lost at home to a Knicks team that was in the midst of a 1-34 run of regulation basketball games. The one was in Los Angeles against the Lakers. You win a couple of those games. You win 3 of those games, you are right now in the playoffs, and nobody's panicked. So to me, these are all secondary, even tertiary issues to what they did when LeBron was hurt and how they have played since LeBron came back.
I believe that in them being injured, you can't overcome injuries. And they had a number of injuries. Lonzo's injury, very important. Rondo being injured. So you're going to have a lack of chemistry. But it really comes down to what should be blamed was how this roster was put together. It was going to be exposed. When you add Lance, Rondo, KCP, those are your big moves in the offseason. So ultimately, we're talking about it now in February, but we would have been talking about it in March or April, because ultimately this roster is not talented enough to be able to help LeBron James be able to win his next NBA championship. So who are we going to blame for it? How this roster was put together, ultimately, we were going to be able to see holes in it, and we're doing it now in February.
All right, let's take a break. Leave it there. Coming up is Kyler Murray putting concerns about his size to rest. Next on First Things First.